decided to continue on. Hence the same clothes we had on in the last episode.
He's lying. We just didn't bathe.
No wardrobe change like last one.
Wait a minute. That's not the same shirt he had on. That's a hoodie.
I would like to ask Nathan to open us up again.
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you, Lord. I thank you just for this opportunity. Lord, I thank you for the willingness that Austin has shown just to be vulnerable, to try and reach somebody that may be going through something that, Lord, if it reaches one person, it's all worth it. Lord, I ask that you guide our conversation, and more importantly, Lord, that we honor you. It's in your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. So, Mr. Military Man, won't you pick this thing back up? I'm in the Army
where
now.
we left off, I'm joining the National Guard. I'm scooting closer. Y'all can't hear Nathan whispering at me, but he's getting on to me. Where I'm picking this up at, we're joining the National Guard. I'm joining the National Guard. Maybe y'all did too. I have no idea.
I did not.
None of you did. You boys couldn't have made it.
Thank you for your service.
So I joined the National Guard before Dallas got pregnant.
Before she got pregnant or before she had the baby?
Before she got pregnant.
Okay.
I had already been in for a minute, because the way it works is when you join before you graduate, you go to drills, but they're like drills preparing you to go to basic.
Gotcha.
I guess they still do it that way. I have no idea. I'm sure. But I went ahead and joined, and Dallas gets pregnant. This was a tough time, because for all those years we got along really well. Like I said, kind of like best friends, and then a switch flipped, and things just wasn't the same anymore. Out of respect, I'm not gonna get into super deep detail, and we'll also talk about that too. I said some stuff that was sure enough hateful to her. She said some stuff that was sure enough hateful to me. Leading up to the end of my senior year, it was just a battle back and forth of talking terrible to each other.
How'd the baseball season go?
I'm a level with you. It ended up being the last thing on my mind. We didn't make the playoffs. I remember that.
Yeah. No fault to you, though, because you wasn't on the field.
Exactly. That's John's fault. That's John Harris's fault.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that, John.
I'm just kidding. Like I said, great coach. So we get to graduation. I graduate. I remember asking my daddy, "Hey, what are you getting me for graduation? And what's my graduation present?" And he said, "I got you a plane ticket to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, because I left 2 days after graduation."
I want to say this, in today's world, it's, and it's no shot to anybody, the fact that you continue to graduate is a big deal, because I feel like now.
I want to shout out her. She graduated too. Matter of fact,
to both
she
of y'all.
graduated very highly in our class.
In that, shout out to both of y'all, because now you see that's where everybody just stops. Well, it's all over, but it wasn't for y'all. It was great. I mean, there was life that come out of this, but shout out to both of y'all for striving on and keep on going.
And I'm sure I'm not. Ty's leaving us. Ty's checking something on the camera, and Ty's coming back. Here we go. I'm sure it was, and I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah.
But it had to be a lot harder for her than it was me.
Absolutely.
No doubt about that. At the time, I would have never admitted that, though, right? But
Yeah.
that's the truth.
No, it's truth. I get that.
So, graduated. She's still pregnant. 2 days later, she's going to be pregnant for a second in this
at
story.
least 9 months.
Yeah. I go to basic. It was a shock for me.
So did your dad get you anything else?
Yeah. So I had to have before you go to basic, they suggest that you get a nice digital waterproof watch. They will give you one when you get, well, you have to buy it. You can buy one when you get there, but it's a little generic It's kind of a crappy one. So my dad did buy me a G-Shock.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah. So anyways, I go to basic. Culture shock for me. I'm a mama's boy. I've never been away from home. I've never done my own laundry at this point. That might be bad to admit, but it's the truth.
I learned how to do laundry when I went to college.
Well, I had to learn it there, and it was probably worse. You had 150 guys living on one floor, 4 washing machines and 4 dryers. And if you didn't you had to sit with your stuff, because if you didn't sit with it, people were stealing it. That's a guarantee. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time. Well, the military will come back up. But I learned a lot at that time. I did a lot of growing up as far as a man aspect goes. I tell people all the time that want to join the military, I think it's a great idea for any, especially young men, because it demands something out of you. I won't never forget when you get there, this drill sergeant got in front of us and he gave a speech, and it's kind of corny if you weren't there, but the speech was, you have all sorts of different people from all across the country in this one setting, and you got people who are there because they wanted to join, or it's my family lineage, or the judge told me it was this, or the big house. That was one of our guys' answers. He got up there and he said, I don't care what religion you are, where you came from, what gang you were in for you got here. The only thing that matters right here is the color green. And they set a standard, and no matter what you were before you got there, you were going to live up to that standard. Whether your whole life you've been above it or below it, you will now be this standard. We don't have enough of that in this. Matter of fact, our youth group, which I help with under Pastor Devin and Pastor Hunter. For those of you who didn't know, Devin is also a pastor, not just the middle linebacker for the what are they? The Mud Dogs.
The Mud Dogs.
The Mud Dogs. God wants you to set that standard. Jesus set a standard.
that's right.
And whether you like all of it or like some of it, you got to meet that standard. That standard doesn't change for you. And the military uses that same aspect. The standard's set, and you live up to it, or you don't make it. So I learned a lot in that process, but where I didn't grow up was how I was handling the situation with my daughter's mother. I tried writing her a few times when I was in basic. She never responded. She did, however, send. Go ahead, Ty.
Just want to say she probably couldn't read your writing because
Dude.
it is pretty bad.
That's a fair point.
I do have terrible handwriting. It took me a long time to write those letters to try to make them where you could read them. She never responded, but she did send me one picture, and it was a sonogram, and it kind of confused me. I felt dumb about this after the fact. It was a sonogram of who y'all will know in just a minute becomes Audie. It was a sonogram, and she had a bow on her head, but the bow was blue and pink striped. So I was thinking, is it because I couldn't really tell in the picture, is it a bow or like a bow tie? And I didn't know, And then finally my mom sent me a letter around the same time period and cleared it up. She had let my mom know that we were going to have a girl. But still not any kind of relationship between me and her whatsoever. I graduate basic. I go to AIT, which is just the thing you go to after basic where they actually teach you your job. For those few people who might have been in the military, I was a heavy machinery operator. So I operated bulldozers, stuff like that. Come back home. I don't remember when I got back home. Early October, something like that. I'd been home for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and Audie's on her way. Dallas called me or texted me, I don't remember, said she was headed to the hospital. No, she was scheduled to go that next morning because I got there super early, like 5:30, 6 o'clock, to make sure I didn't want to miss this. And lo and behold, and I do remember this date, and you'll understand why.
Praise the Lord.
October 30th, 2014, Audie was born. Happy birthday to Austin.
Happy 19th birthday.
Yes. I was turning 19 and Audie was born. One of the greatest days of my life to this day. I don't, very few days I remember feeling that same kind of joy. I was at the hospital. She let me come back there. I held her. It was awesome. Me and her still weren't on good speaking terms.
But you were there though.
Yeah, I was there, and I mean, she didn't keep me away from it. She told me, she told me what time I needed to be there, what time she was gonna be, go in. So she didn't do anything like that. We were civil enough to not let that get in the way of that moment, but we still weren't on good speaking terms. And then, fast forward a couple years, things between me and her, we got to a point to where we could talk, but we still weren't good. We were taking a lot of shots at each other, and you got something?
In these couple of years, are y'all doing the normal, quote unquote, normal custody deal? Like every other weekend, or
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I could get real specific, but there's no point. Pretty much, yeah. So pretty much that's what we were doing. Just kind of like what I do now. So we did that, and still, like I said, civil enough to make that happen, but not good. I mean, still taking shots at each other and not good. Not what I would call. At that time, I might have called that good compared to where we were.
Sure.
But you'll see when we get later on in this story why I say it wasn't good. Around that same time period, I met a woman named Hope. Hope becomes a huge part of this story too. I don't know. I started talking to Hope not long after Audie was born. I don't like I said, I'm not a big dates guy here. I don't remember. Me and Hope started talking, dating, hooking up, just like a normal ungodly relationship. You know what I mean? And we moved into an apartment together. I was living with my cousin and his girlfriend. Love my cousin more than anything in this world. Love his wife. Love both of them. Living with roommates is just tough. So me and her decided to get married.
How far are we into this?
I'm 20.
No, I'm saying how long was y'all dating before y'all decided this?
Not long enough to make a decision like that.
Bring it on.
I'll tell you the way the proposal worked. Mine wasn't even as good as Nathan's. All right.
No sticky note fly traps.
No fly traps.
No fly traps. It was like 2:00 in the morning, and she knew that I had bought something for her. She didn't know what it was. She thought it was just a gift.
You're a terrible gift giver too. You can't keep anything a secret. It doesn't matter what it is.
I kept it a secret that they moved you out of your house.
Continue.
You want to say something?
That wasn't a gift.
Just saying, I can keep some secret. I done tickled myself.
Oh, me.
So, anyways, she kept hounding me about it. So at like 2:00 in the morning, I just went and pulled it out the top of the dresser and proposed to her right there in the bedroom.
Did you get down on a knee?
No, I did not.
Hey, open that drawer over there if you don't care.
No, I did not. So we decided we're getting married in this same time frame. We weren't doing anything to protect sexually. We were just having sex. And lo and behold, I don't know what come first. That's the God's honest truth. I don't know if she was pregnant when I proposed or if she got pregnant after I proposed. Really close either way. But we like to say that we semi got married before, but we really don't have an idea. We don't know. If we're being honest, we don't know. So me and her, I proposed, and it was a very short time later. We made the drive over to Hamilton, Alabama, which ends up being kind of funny later on in this story. we make the drive over to Hamilton, Alabama, Devin's old stomping grounds, and got married right there at the courthouse because we could not get married because she was a year younger than me. We couldn't get married, I don't think. Something about it, we had to go get married over there. Or maybe you can only get married on certain days, and we just had our mind made up we were going this day. I don't remember why.
We don't care about nothing, Alabama. Just come on over here. We'll marry you, baby.
Alabama will marry you no matter what.
Was she under 18?
I don't think so. That's why I
That's
don't
the
know.
only reason I can think.
Well, I think it was because the courthouse in Tupelo or Amory. I don't remember. There was a reason we went over there.
because your parents would have to sign.
No, she wasn't under 8. She was 18. She's
They
only
wanted to have the honeymoon over that way.
That's right.
she's only a month younger than
Waterfall
me. So
back
she
over on the
was-
backside.
Oh, I don't know. I could be wrong. She might comment after this and tell y'all exactly why. Don't hold me to it.
I hope you do, Hope.
Yeah.
Please fill
We
in
need
the
some
blanks.
dates.
So me and her get married, and nothing about our relationship at this point has been God. I mean, we both believe, you know the old, oh yeah, I believe in God. I just don't do anything to show that in the
That's
fruit.
right.
You know, I don't. I believe He's real. I believe Jesus Christ was the real deal. I just don't show you in any form or fashion with the way I live my life. So we rock on, and I don't remember how long into our relationship we my brother was having a brain surgery. This is funny because it ties into something that Nathan said about Justin. My brother was having a brain surgery. You said Justin showed up at the hospital that day. Well, that's where I'm getting at. My brother was having
I was going somewhere else.
my brother was having a massive brain surgery, and it was at Memphis Hospital. It was going to take like 12 hours. It was a big one. And I was there. My mom, Hope, came with me. She took off work. At this point, I need to back up because I forgot about something. I
Put
didn't
it
for-
in reverse,
I
Austin.
first off, let me clear something up. I did not forget about this. I just forgot that she was here for this part of the story, so I'm going to cover this now. I was going to wait. Like I said, Hope was pregnant. I didn't forget. I just didn't think about her being here for this part of the story. So now I'm going to tell. I was going to wait till after this. June 13th, 2016, I have my second daughter, Olivia Moore, who is, you just have to meet her. I don't know how to describe her. I mean, I love her with everything in my heart, just like I do all my children, but she's something. Her and Nate Dogg over here are pretty tight. She loves Ty. She don't really care for Devin.
She only talks to me when Ty's not on the Discord.
Yeah.
Hey, Devin. But if Ty's on it, I'm not getting a shout out.
Loves Ty, but she gets it honest because I love him too. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about that face.
She is a miniature spitting image of you.
Absolutely.
Well, and we'll
Yes.
we'll actually talk about that a little bit too. So Olivia's born. I don't remember how old she was, but she could, if she couldn't walk, she could crawl real fast because I remember her scooting around this hospital.
Yeah.
All right. I don't remember if she was walking or crawling, but I'm pretty. Maybe she wasn't born, and maybe that was my niece. I don't remember. All right. There was a baby there.
Oh, goodness.
We found out when you were born, Olivia.
But
There was a
he
baby
knows
there.
the date.
I do know the date she was born.
Better than Annabelle.
No, I know when Annabelle was born.
You
It's
just
the-
didn't know how old she was.
It's the passcode to her phone, though. Anyways, Reese is the one that I might miss. I might not have to say it, though, because I wasn't there for it. We'll get there. Anyways, we go to this hospital for my brother's brain surgery, and we got family there. And my cousin, who I referenced earlier, Nikki Wigington, her husband came, Brian Wigington. Excuse me. Is that a problem for you?
Sicko.
Is that a problem?
You're
So-
disgusting. You disgust me.
Brian and Nikki had started going to First Assembly in Amory. I had been a couple times through high school, almost Wednesday night, to get the chicken strips. They used to make the old tiki bar. They had a tiki bar at the church.
Probably could have used different words. Go ahead, though.
That's what they called it.
Go ahead.
Tiki Hut would have sufficed.
They might have called it that. It was a tiki bar. Anyway, we're sitting there, and Brian walks in. He's like, "Hey, I brought the pastor from Amory First with me." He was like brand new. I mean, brand new out the box.
Yeah.
Brand spanking new. He didn't even have the gray hair yet. His hair was still whatever color it used to be. Right?
We're the reason for his gray hair.
Well, 10 years ago would have put it about 2016. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
he
that
was
lines
new.
up with Liv and
And
everything.
we got to talking, and I was the complete opposite of Nathan when it come to Justin. I fell in love with that dude at that hospital. Me and my wife both. I mean, he put the old pastor wine and dine on us, and then the next church service we were there.
Yeah.
We were going pretty faithfully. I mean, not like I do now, but we
Yeah.
were going pretty faithfully, enough to call it our home church. So we became members there, which is why earlier in Nathan's video you heard me say that's when you and Heather became members, because I became a member. I don't remember the year, but shortly after that, I was actually going to California with the guard, and Hope was at home. So Hope and Olivia did the whole membership thing in front of the church, and I was on FaceTime. So that is when I became a member of Amory First. Now, like I said, we wasn't going very religiously, and our relationship was not good. I was through all this, I have still kept my porn addiction strong. Right? If there wasn't nothing else I was good at, keeping that baby alive was what I was good at.
Yeah.
All right. I might not have been good. I mean, just telling you the truth.
Right.
It's no filter, right?
Yeah. Right.
That's the truth. You got something? You always do that.
No.
You better start saying it what you're thinking. So we did that for a little while. Never got involved. Never got in the volunteer stage or anything like that. Just going to church. And then it slowly started dwindling. And then our relationship, looking back on it, slowly started dwindling. I couldn't see this then like I see it now. I was never a husband like God called me to be. I wanted her to be things that she wasn't, and I tried to force that on her. I even remember at a certain point in our relationship, the intimacy side of it was just completely gone. And I didn't care. I'm going to tell this story because I want to get it out there to just kind of tell you where my mindset was. The intimacy level was completely gone. So I remember one day, you know, on Dish Network or DirecTV, either one you have to buy the old dirty channel. You know what I'm talking about? I did it not so much because I wanted to or had to. I just wanted her to see it on the bill to kind of slap her in the face.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel like your addiction hurt it more than anything?
The relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Are you asking me now or then?
I'm asking you
In
then.
that moment.
Yeah, in that moment.
In that moment?
Mm-hmm.
No, in that moment it was her fault.
Gotcha. Okay.
She wasn't doing what she was supposed to do as a
Yeah.
wife. In
And
that moment.
That's what you're telling yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So we rolled on, and we ended up moving several times, and financially we were never stable because we were young and stupid, and we were never financially stable. We both cared a lot about Olivia. I mean, that was something we always come together on, but nothing else was really good. And it got to a point where we were living in the same house and we were married, but there was really no marriage there. And God's not in the picture at this point. We're not even really going to church. Still, my relationship with Dallas, Audie's mother, had gotten better, but not fantastic by no means. And they might have spoke a couple times, but they didn't really have a relationship either. Keep in mind, we're all young through this, man.
Absolutely.
That's
all
what I
young.
was trying to put together. You're 21.
Yeah, we're early
and with
20s, man.
21 with 2 kids. Or,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
right?
we're all young.
Back to it. The fact that y'all are still doing this and trying to be good humans and good parents is what matters a lot when you look at nowadays.
Can I ask something? Because you made the comment previously that all you knew was a split household.
Yeah.
Dallas and Hope, did they come from split households, or were they married parent households? You know what I mean?
So, I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but I will explain a little bit.
Yeah.
Dallas's father passed away when she was young. From all accounts I've heard, like I said, I've always known who he is. I never met him. I think he was a good man.
Yeah.
I hear people talk good things about him all the time.
Mhm.
I know his father very well. Did I get away from my mic? I know his father very well, which I call Papa George, one of the greatest men I ever met.
Sure.
Solid. Audie loves him to death. Solid grandfather. So I can only assume, but I don't know a lot of that. That would be a her testimony
Yeah.
thing. And then Hope. Her mother was around. I mean, I didn't say anything about her mother, but her
Yeah.
mother was around. But like I said, I'm not going to dive too deep into it because that's her testimony.
That's right.
You
Well,
know what
I
mean?
was just
And then Hope-
wondering about your mindset
Yeah.
from your
Right.
background and how their
right.
their mind
and
may
Hope,
work.
yes, she come from a split home, but Hope also her mother remarried, to a man. You know Mike Brassfield married a man named Mike Brassfield. Me and Mike didn't always get along. He was a good man. Me and him would just have spats because he wanted me to treat. It was his daughter.
That's right.
And he wanted me to treat her a certain way. And at the time, I thought she was the problem, and he was trying to a lot of times make me see that it was, I had problems too.
Sure.
But once again, I'm young. I'm 20. I got everything figured out. He don't know nothing. But grandfather wise, top tier.
Yeah.
Top tier grandpa. No doubt about that. But that's kind of how but they grew up the same way, split household. But Hope's daddy still had stuff to do with her too. I mean, he was around when Olivia was born. We used to go visit, so she still had her daddy too. But she lived with her mother. So anyways, fast forward, where was I at? Our relationship was not good. Okay, I'm still here. So at this point, we were living in Smithville, and I won't ever forget it. I woke up one morning and getting ready for work, just a regular day. I knew things weren't great, but I didn't think they were this. And she just walked into the bathroom, and I was getting ready to walk out the door, and she was like, "Hey, just letting you know, I want a divorce. I'm done. Just point blank, period." And then when I got back home that night, she wasn't there. And then we split, just like that. She was gone, and in my mind at that time, it was all her fault. She walked out on our family. She was sorry. That's what I thought,
Yeah.
right? I couldn't believe it. I was dumbfounded that she
Yeah.
would leave. You know?
I've done nothing here.
Yeah. I haven't done anything wrong.
I'm all right.
I knew let me say this. I knew I had done some stuff wrong, but I didn't think I had done anything that wrong.
You wasn't going to admit that.
Yeah, I didn't think I had done anything that wrong.
Right.
So we separated and we agreed to do live. She gets a week, I get a week. Well, I don't think she'll be mad at me telling this, so I'm gonna tell it. She went through a stage there where she had started hanging out with some people, and she wasn't doing like drugs or anything like that, but she had moved to Tupelo, and it ended up all coming together to where I had Olivia for a lot more time. So y'all say Olivia's a spitting image of me. Well, for a hot minute there, me and Liv were spending every day together. I was staying at my mama's house. Me and her shared a bedroom, so she stayed in the room with me. Took care of her all night. Wake up, take her to school. Me or my mother-in-law would pick her up from preschool, or what's it called, daycare. How could I forget? I spent so much money on it.
Amen.
Pick her up from daycare, and then it was me and Liv. I mean, that's what we did. And then on the weekends we had Aldi, and I was slightly miserable, but they loved it because they had Daddy and Nanny, who spoiled them half to death.
You was miserable because you wasn't getting to do what you wanted to do. 20-year-old at that stage.
So surprisingly, no. Something I've never had a problem with, and I think Nathan especially can vouch for this. I was very good when it was my time with my girls.
Mm-hmm.
That's their time to this day.
Yeah.
This weekend, y'all went to the men's retreat. It's my weekend with my girls. I stayed home because that's my time to spend with my kids.
Right.
I've always been that way, and partially because I think growing up, I remember not wanting to be around my daddy sometimes when I was younger, and I don't want my kids to feel that way. So I've always been good about that, and I don't. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. That's not what I'm doing. I don't think I was ever a bad dad.
Mm-hmm.
I was a pretty good dad. I wanted to be better than what I thought I had growing up. So we were living at my mama's house, and I want to come back and circle on something right quick so I can clear this up. My stepdad that I didn't like. I didn't like him when my mom got married to him. I didn't really care for him that much in high school, if I'm being honest, all the way through high school. All he ever did was work. He was gone all week. Sometimes he only came home every other weekend. You look back now as an adult taking care of your family, man, was I an idiot. I couldn't have done half the things I did in my life had it not been for that man. I couldn't have been afforded a lot of the opportunities I got because of the stuff he did. You don't realize that when you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Now, love my stepdad to death. Great relationship. Hard to convince me there's a better man out there.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't feel that way. But we're starting to get there.
Sure.
He's let me move back into the house because he knows I have nowhere to go, and so in this, I lived like that. I can't remember, at least a year, maybe longer. I had some flings with some girls, but nothing serious. And then, this is my personal favorite. Well, not my favorite part of the story, but we're getting there. I was hanging out with my friends a lot, and one of my best friends throughout my whole not throughout all of high school, but one of my best friends at this point in time, Braden Eldridge, tells me, he's like, "Hey, there's this girl who's trying to talk to you on Snapchat, but she's talking to the wrong Austin." He was like, "I told her that was the wrong guy, and she wants your Snapchat." Awesome. I know I'm a smooth talker, but I'm not real hot with the ladies. You know what I mean? So one that wants to talk to me, sign me up. So I think I added her on Snap, and we start talking. I didn't know a lot about this woman at the time. We're going to learn a lot about her. I'm going to spend a lot of time here because this is where my life changes, but not the first part. I start talking to a woman by the name of Heather Burgett. Heather O'Mary. O'Mary at the time. My relationship with both of the mother of my children, me and Hope never had a bad relationship when it come to taking care of Olivia. Me and Dallas never did when it come to taking care of Audie, but we took a lot of shots at each other. But that's getting better. That's slowly going up. We're doing t-ball games and stuff together. She's starting to see other people and getting some serious relationships, and things are looking better.
Mm-hmm.
We're also becoming more adults.
That's right.
I'm about to say everybody's
We're
growing up.
Mature.
Growing older.
Yeah.
Realizing the stupid stuff that didn't mean anything, that was hurting the kids more than anything, right? And so I want to pause right there and just throw this in there for people who are watching this, that you know somebody who's young and having kids, or I know that it's easier to hate each other and to throw shots and all that. I'm telling you right now, time might heal it, but it's so much better if you'll just do it sooner.
Yeah.
You can save yourself so much anxiety and depression and stress. Because I look back on some of the stuff that we fought about and the arguments we had, and I'm not saying everything's perfect right now. Do I get on the mother of my children's nerves sometimes? I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Do they get on my nerves sometimes? Yes. Now, I'm probably going to hear about that later, but I have a whole different respect for them now.
Yeah.
I don't know if love is the right word, but I hold them in a certain place in my heart because they're the mother of my children.
That's exactly right.
I have a respect for that, and if you could see where we came from,
Yeah.
to where we're at now, it's crazy. And to think that we spent so many years doing the other stuff. So that being said, and please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to talk to anybody about it that needs to talk about it because I know what it's like, and it's terrible. It sucks.
We're given limited time on this earth. There's no sense in dwelling on these things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially not in the big picture.
That's right.
But so I'll revert back. I have now met Heather O'Mary. Heather O'Mary is the mother of 2 daughters, and at this point, the wife of Brian O'Mary.
At this point,
The
in the story,
what?
At this point in the story, the wife of Brian O'Mary. I start talking to a woman who is technically still married. Now, like I said, all y'all want to see the wife's testimony, so I'm about to drop a sneak peek. These guys might not want me to. After the 4 of us get done, you will get our wife's testimonies next. So I'm not going to share all of hers. I'm going to only share the parts that involve me. I start talking to a married woman who is technically separated, but not separated like, hey, we're waiting on the divorce papers, separated like, hey, we're staying together because it's good for the kids and the insurance and all that. Living in the same house, 2 different rooms. She's doing her thing. He's doing his thing.
And
Let me say this before you go. Nathan can speak on it a little bit more because at this point, this is some of Nathan's really close friends. So he might can tell you a little bit better what their relationship was like.
Oh no, I'm not getting into that. But 2 different lives because Heather works during the day. She's at home at night. Brian works at night, and he's sleeping during the day.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it had become, like you said, it was at this point where we're at, a
Roommates.
passing,
Yeah, there
a
was an
passing
agreeance.
relationship for convenience.
Yeah, convenience. Yeah.
So, is that why you didn't like him
Oh
when you
no,
first met him? Okay.
absolutely not. He was a carry on.
We're about to get into our
I
friendship.
want to hear the
don't
word.
worry. So me and her start hanging out and hooking up. I remember the first time we ever hung out, she had to go drop her kids off at her house because Brian had just got home. We do all that. Well, she ends up, I don't want to say kicking him out because I think he was about ready to go anyway. He ends up getting his own apartment, and about as fast as he got out,
Here comes Austin.
The door
Slid
didn't
right in.
close.
I moved in.
You can leave your mama's house now.
I love my mom. So for a while, what I was doing was I was living with her. On the weekends, I had my girls. I would go back to my mama's house because I wanted to. I did want to separate that too until the time came.
Right.
So we did that, and I mean, if you want to be technical, I think in my in some of the papers, the legal papers, I couldn't live with her anyways. Why I had the girls.
Right.
Which was, that's just what it was. And so anyways, but I didn't want to either because I didn't want to. I can't remember when they met her. I can't. But either way, so we did that for a while, and I won't never forget. Brian wants to have a conversation with me, as he should.
The husband.
My mother was not happy about this, but I couldn't live with my mama no longer. I love my mama to death, but I could not live with her no longer.
I get it.
So, me and Brian talk. He says he's coming over to talk. I'm outside. He tried to talk to me one time before. It didn't go well. Heather, anyways, it was a mess. But we making agreements we're going to talk because I figured I at least owed him that. And basically what the talk boiled down to was he didn't want me living there. He had absolutely the right to ask me not to live there. But I told him I was going to keep living there because I wasn't going back to my mama's house. That's point blank truth.
Yeah.
And I told him that I was like, I respect your, I respect how you feel about it, but he didn't like it.
Yeah.
We wasn't buddies.
Mhm.
All right, by no means.
Well, his daughters are in the house.
Absolutely.
I'm sure he has the same feeling that
Absolutely.
About you being there that you had about your daughters not being there.
Absolutely. Hey, all aspects of it. He was 100% right. I'm just telling you how I looked at it.
Sure.
You want the truth? That's the truth. And so we continued on. And at this point, I start hanging out with the guy that goes by the alias of Big Diesel. Me and Nathan start hanging out a little bit. I done got my job working with Nathan. He hates me. But we're hanging out because his wife and my wife, they like to get a little turnt together. So now me and Nathan have to hang out.
Obligations.
Does he really got to come over today?
Heather and the kids can come.
So man, I don't know what I did to you to make you not like me so bad.
Cry out there at Tammy's house all night.
That was so long ago.
I know, you big sissy.
Got drunk one time, spilled my heart out. I also
You
did.
wasn't for it.
Not at all.
In his
Now's
defense,
not the time.
in his defense, I also made some passes at his wife, I believe. Maybe Brittany puts that in her testimony. Either way, back to the point of the story. We keep rocking along. We are definitely not interested in church. We're interested in drinking, making love, and partying. And we're going to work somewhere in there to try to pay the bills.
In that order, or
No, partying would have came first. With them, matter of fact. Every weekend. Somewhere, somehow, we was doing
Except
something.
when he had his kids. I will vouch for that.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
did not matter what I wanted to plan or what I wanted to do. If his kids could not be around it, and he wasn't going to put his kids around what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to be there.
Yeah.
Point blank.
So that like I said, that was something that I've always held true to and still do. Weekend with the kids was weekend with the kids. We could party. I'm talking about we could do the wildest stuff you want to next weekend, but we got the kids this weekend. That's just always been my thing. So we lived like that for a hot minute. We ended up moving to a house here in Amory, and me and Heather had no intentions of getting married. She had no intentions of it. She used to tell me all the time, I'm not marrying you because if it gets bad enough, I'm leaving. Like, if I don't want to be here, I'm gone. She used to say it all the time. And then we got married before we started going back to church, I think. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. And I'll tell you why I know we didn't.
Okay.
Annabelle comes home one day, and she's talking about wanting to go to a church. Hey, I want to be like the other kids that go to church on Wednesday night. Annabelle's daddy, this is her own testimony, so I'm not gonna get too deep in it. But Annabelle and her daddy, not a very good relationship. So Brian was her daddy. But she wanted to be like the other kids and go to church, and I say that because she didn't have like her real daddy there. So I kind of filled that role, and Brian was still a big part of her life. Brian did not just leave, and so Annabelle was not Brian's daughter. Reese was.
That's what I was fixing to say. Brian raised Annabelle from the time she was probably about 3 years old.
Yeah, well,
And maybe younger.
and I'm gonna talk about that more here in just a little bit. But Brian did not just say, "Okay, well, I don't have any obligations to Annabelle anymore."
Mm-hmm.
He kept getting her if she wanted to go, she got to go.
Yeah.
Because he started doing the every other weekend, and really, and he could do more than every other. Heather was never the woman. If you want your daughter, you get your daughter.
Right.
We're divorced because we were not good for each other, but it's not these kids' fault.
That's
Heather
right.
was always good about that.
Yeah.
But the schedule he worked, it just didn't really allow him
Yeah.
to do that. So Annabelle comes in. She wants to go to church like the other kids. I want to go to church on Wednesday nights and get to do that fun stuff. And Heather was like, well, what church are we going to try out? You know, Heather grew up in the church. Heather grew up very, very religious in like some hardcore religious churches. Devin knows some of them, but Heather grew up very religious. And she's like, well, what church are we going to try? And I was like, we can go to, what's technically my home church where I'm a member, Amory First. And she was like, nah. With that guy? Nah.
Hey, you see why me and Heather, we good.
That's right.
So
It's all
because
about that Hummer.
So because Heather was friends with all them. She was not a big fan of Justin.
He did verify it was just a simple H3 this weekend.
Okay.
It was black.
But
yeah,
you
it
made
really,
it yellow.
really
Hey.
shot me down on that one.
Pause on that. Brad Otto made a good point. How often do we want to make something way worse than it is? You made
Absolutely.
it yellow.
Made it a full size H2, bright yellow, and just
If it was
Wham.
H2, it would have been cool.
Go ahead, sir.
sorry.
Need for Speed Underground. So anyways, I finally talk her into it, and we go. And we start going pretty faithfully. But, I mean, we were going on Sunday, and we were going to church, and then we were going and grabbing a case of beer and going and getting on the boat with my daddy. You know what I mean? That kind of going. Kids were getting something out of it. We were going. Well, it started to hit me a little bit deeper. I can't remember the message, but I remember this distinctively. This is how I know we wasn't married yet. I went down to the altar one time, and Heather wouldn't come. And after church, we were sitting there talking, and I asked her, I was like, you know, how come you never come down to the altar? You said you grew up like this. And she was like, why would I go down there to the altar when I know we're going to leave here and keep living in the same sin that I'm asking God to take from me?
That's good.
That's good.
Okay.
Punch in the gut.
Guess I'm not going to go no more.
No arguing with that, was there?
So in the midst of all that, we end up getting married. And like I said, my times could be off. She might correct me. She loves nothing more than to correct me. So she might correct me on some of this. But we end up, I remember that this is how my wife works. So for those of y'all who are wondering, my wife she would tell me she loved me and all that, but time when she was my girlfriend, this is how our marriage conversation went. You know, I've been thinking, and this is Heather. I'm Heather. I think it just kind of makes sense for us to get married. What do you mean? Well, I mean financially and with insurance and all that, we probably just need to go ahead and do it. And I was like,
Very business formal lady.
does it have anything to do with love? No, I love you, but I mean, I just think it's time. But do I need to like formally ask you? And she was like, well, you can just agree with me? And I said, oh, okay, I agree.
So technically, she asked you to marry her.
That's exactly what it sounds like. Yes.
technically speaking, I
Oh,
guess.
man,
So
that's solid.
She didn't get down on the knee either then.
she did not.
Should have just went ahead and took her last name instead of her taking yours.
Ricky would have loved that.
Yes, he
Oh,
would have.
you would have been a Burgett.
So we ended up going to the beach and doing a little wedding on the beach. One of my best friends did the wedding. It was beautiful. You know, go check my Facebook page if you want to see the picture.
Solid hair in that picture, by the way.
Had a
Solid
head full of hair.
Oh, that's the Fabio hair picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Johnny
it.
Bravo.
You are on board
Yeah.
now.
I got you.
So anyway, we come back home and we're still living that same life. We're church, but we're drinking. We're still drinking, cussing, doing all the fun stuff. We can have sex now because we're married, right? 'Cause we got that little piece of paper.
That's right.
And technically, we were married, through the Lord, because He did give something. I don't even remember what He said, but it was out of the Bible. So one day, I don't remember what caused it, but we walked out of church one day, and I said, "Hey, we need to change this. We need to fix this. We were not living a good life. I could see my marriage headed towards the same kind of standstill.
You were sick of that at this point.
I was sick of it, and
This is where you're starting to notice the Holy Spirit's got a hold of you.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and she felt it too, and we went home, and we got rid of all our alcohol. We decided, so I always held this too, which he can vouch for this. I never cussed in front of my kids, something that I was not gonna do. I wasn't gonna come to the parties because I'm not gonna ask somebody else not to cuss at their house, but I'm not gonna put my kid. I did not like that. So we never cussed in front of the kids or anything like that. Would they slip? Sure. But we never, cut full
You were
blown.
mindful of it
Yes.
and
very much
deliberate
so.
about it.
But we poured all the alcohol out.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does that make you think that you were doing it, that it wasn't you doing it? Like you could shut it off at any time you wanted to, the cursing. And
Yes.
like-
yeah, and I'll tell you why. once we made that decision, I remember it. I told him at work one day because Nathan was a little bit behind me in starting this walk. I remember telling him one day, you can ask him. I said I wasn't cussing anymore, and I just never did anymore. I just didn't.
It becomes, and this is going to sound stupid, it becomes part of your language. Like it just flows. It points. I know where I was. I'm gonna get into that later on. But
Yeah, it's
just-
normal.
It just flows out
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I mean, here's what bothered me about it. This is gonna sound stupid, but you can't tell I felt like you couldn't tell a good funny story anymore without the cuss words,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's not as funny if you don't have the F
That's
word
right.
in there. That you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Man, that'd sound way funnier if I'd have dropped one of them in there.
so that, but I just quit, and my story started sounding stupider. But then I was just like, well, then I'm just not gonna tell that story anymore, you know. So, anyways, that's just how it happened, and we started going to the church, and we started getting. I mean, we were trying to be faithful. Heather started serving before I did. My wife's heart, her servant's heart, drives me absolutely nuts sometimes. My wife's not going to say no. In her mind, if she doesn't serve when she's asked to serve, and when she needs there needs to be a time to serve, Jesus is ripping the crown from that, ripping the jewel from that crown. I think that's what she sees in her mind. But I wouldn't change it, even though it drives me nuts. I wouldn't change it.
I'll stop you one more time,
Okay.
and I'm stopping you because of a time thing.
Okay.
We're at that